Hello all, hope you are doing well. Just gonna get my chat up and going here. Always takes a bit of a time. But yeah, I can see there's some people here, so that's cool. Just gonna test this. Hello. I don't know how to change my name, I haven't really. I'm gonna change that name some other time. Hello Kamal, nice to see you. Hello Night Spider, great to see you back again, that's cool. So as usual, we're just gonna take it a bit slow in the beginning. Hello Moondog, Davidas, nice to see you again. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna do some looking at Claude, the projects thing, so we can take a look at that. Hello Facts, hello iBog, cool to see you. Hello Digital Applied. Yeah, like I said, I was gonna look at the Claude projects, so we can take a look at that. They added custom instructions, so that's a bit cool. Hello Yushi, hello Mihawk. And yeah, just some stuff I thought we could take a look at. There's this AI Engineer World's Fair. I thought we could take a look at kind of the first keynote speak here. I thought it was pretty cool. Maybe some of you have seen it, but I kind of liked it. We can take a look at that together, I thought. And just some different stuff. Hello Drogo. And yeah, I've been playing around with Claude 3.5 Sonnet, looking at this projects part. You can see I created this app here using Sonnet just earlier today. So basically I wanted to try to create this app that kind of is just running in my terminal. It looks at my CPU, GPU usage, my memory, and I added some random stuff. Hello Rakesh. Hello Flash Rabbit, nice to see you back again. So Night Spider, tried the project yesterday, pretty smooth. Created a custom to-do app with Next.js and Tauri, make it standalone. Cool. Yeah, so this small app is just running in my terminal. So I just wanted to add some stuff just for fun. So yeah, you can see if I have the live Bitcoin price here. I just wanted to test that. And every 5th minute we get kind of the headlines from Hacker News. And I'll show you when it pops up. So today, Flash, we are just gonna look at the projects part from Claude 3. Yeah, a few videos maybe we take a look at from the AI Engineer World's Fair. And just some small stuff. Maybe not the longest stream, but we'll see. Hello Tim, nice to see you again. Thanks man, appreciate it. So yeah, like I said, when we actually, I think it's every 5th minutes, you can see here we scrape this Hacker News headlines. So it's gonna shuffle through every single title here. That was quite big though, but you can see it's gonna shuffle through every single headline. And if we press O, I think, we will actually go to that page. Hello Rusu. So let's say if we see some headline that sounds interesting here, open Sora, I can just press O and we will go to that project, right? And we can take a look again. We can open this one. So basically, we can just open these headlines from Hacker News just from kind of our terminal here. So seems to be working pretty good. So we can just watch it, and it's gonna update every 5 minutes or so. You can kind of set the timer yourself. So we built this app maybe like 10 minutes or something using 10-15 minutes using Claude 3.5. I kind of like it. I just like having it like down here. And I was thinking about adding some stuff too. When are we gonna update the Discord invite link? I don't know if I said that. Like, I changed it. I removed that Discord. Yeah, I guess I should probably remove it from YouTube. Kind of forgot that. But like I said, we created a community Discord because the old one had like 7,000 people and there was so much spam I couldn't keep up. So I just deleted that one. But yeah, this app is pretty cool. So it's been about 5 minutes. Yeah, give it a few more minutes and then we can kind of get into what I wanted to take a look at today. And yeah, that is kind of the Claude projects. I also saw, let me see here. I guess you all saw it, but OpenAI kind of delayed the new voice mode. So they said late July, but I don't know. Are we expecting it to get it in late July? Probably gonna be a very slow rollout anyway. So I'm thinking more like August maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a bit of a bummer, but yeah. There's a lot of other stuff we can do too. Like Claude 3 Sonnet 3.5 came out, and yeah, we'll get there. There's no rush. I see a lot of people on like Reddit really stressing about they really want it now, but yeah, we will get access when we get it, right? Okay, so I think we're just gonna, it's been about 7 minutes now, so yeah, Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So what they added, I'm just gonna turn off the dark reader here. So kind of what was new was this thing called projects. So I had a look at it this, I guess yesterday and this morning, and I think I like it. So I created 2 different projects. Will the projects be available for free users, or do you mean like the OpenAI part? Any services that host uncensored LLMs? Yeah, that's Ollama, right? Ollama. They have uncensored models. But yeah, here is where I created my terminal app that kind of had the computer vitals, Bitcoin price, and Hacker News. And I just tested out some other project. But I thought we can create one from scratch here. So this is probably behind my head. The OpenAI voice is probably gonna be at least first for paying professional plan, I guess. And other than that, probably gonna be open. Yeah, Raj, maybe Together AI has uncensored models, but OpenAI, no. You can check out Together AI, they might have some. Okay, so this is behind my head probably, but we have this button here called Create Project. So I'm just gonna click on that. It kind of takes us to this page so we can kind of name our project. So I don't know, let's call it just back end to front end. That was kind of what I wanted to test today because I have this idea. What you're trying to achieve, I don't know, connect a backend code, I don't know, to a front end UI. So this was what I was looking at with these projects that I found pretty cool. Been working with projects for a few days and I'm liking them. I'm curious to watch your workflow. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like, you can kind of do whatever you want with it, but I was looking more at just thinking about it just for coding. And I had some few ideas I wanted to test. So basically, I haven't really tried anything else but to write some code with it. And yeah, like I said, I just started yesterday, so there's a lot to explore here. So this is just gonna be kind of my early tests. Will M, hello, welcome. Looks interesting. Haven't checked out projects much yet. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. You can kind of set your custom instructions. I haven't seen that in Claude before. So I created an instruction I wanted to try. We can go through this. So yeah, you just click here. So, but basically this is the same as with OpenAI. It's basically a system message, right? So this is the one I wanted to try today. Just give it a roll. You're a full stack software dev with expertise in Python, JavaScript, Tailwind, React. Yeah, just mention some programming languages. When you write code, always use very descriptive variable names, extensive use of comments to explain code blocks, write clean and secure code. Okay. Let me just see. I've been working on a Unity docs project and uploaded some of the Unity docs and best practices. The code coming out is amazingly complete. Okay, that's cool. Sounds interesting. So you like it so far, Brian? Yeah, Josh, thanks for that. I can see it now. The script desk okay, that's better, right? So the reason why I wanted to do descriptive variable names and extensive use of comments to explain code blocks, it only has to do with the LLM, right? It can be annoying with all of these comments when if it's all over your code, right? But when we are using these LLMs, I don't really care about that. We can remove them later. But I just found it easier to get the output we want when we have very descriptive variable names and also comments. Okay, Brian, so you really like it. So much more useful. Just need a larger context window. Yeah. Like when you talk about code bases and stuff, like let's say 200K might sound much if you're doing some writing, but that gets really filled up if you have like a large project, right? I think I need to adjust my camera a bit, something like this. Let me just see. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so this is kind of our custom instructions. And yeah, let's try it. And write clean and secure code. I haven't played around with that instruction so much, but I just wanted to try it out. Your project knowledge can get eaten up really quickly. Yeah, I haven't really tested that out, but I've seen like when I added some knowledge here, so add content, this fills up, right? So this is what I wanted to try out today. So my idea was that we write a small block of code, we add it to our content, and then we kind of move on. So I want to start really simple. I kind of see where that takes us. I haven't really thought of anything. But let's just start with something very simple. I want to do it really simple. So what kind of backend do we want here? You should start with a small code base that reflects what coding style you want for your preferred language and knowledge as an knowledge article. Yeah, that's pretty smart. I think that's a good idea. But I just want to do it very simple now, and we might try to expand on it later. The first thing I wanted to do was just write a very simple backend code and see how we can add that to our content, right? I need, we can do it in JavaScript maybe. I think so. JavaScript code. That takes a user input text, maybe. I don't really care about this. Text parses out all numbers from the given text. Then sorts all the numbers from, I don't know, low to high using, we can use like a bubble sort or something. Algo. Right. Hello, cool Mac dude. Looking for Claude 3 Sonnet content to help me convince me to cancel my OpenAI subscription. Yeah, I can see, like, the nice thing is that you can switch around, right? This month you can try out 3.5. Next month, if you want to try out the voice mod from OpenAI, I would do that. Since this, I'm just gonna use both now. But like, I guess you could save some. Okay, cool. I like that. Welcome. Okay, so let's just try this. Let's just start with something simple here. So let's try to create like a simple JavaScript code that takes a user input text and just extracts all the numbers from the given text and just sorts it from low to high using an algorithm, right? Sorry about that. I think my phone is ringing, but yeah, I think it's fine. So let's see. I guess my camera went out, but I'm gonna fix it. Just give me a second. Okay, it should be good now. Let me see. I hope I'm still here. I think I am. So let me try to fix that camera. Yeah, this is the thing about streaming, right? I'm not so used to it. I don't know what's happening now. Hopefully you can see me. I'm just gonna try to fix my camera. So hopefully I'm back now. Yeah, I should be back soon. Okay, sorry about that. So where were we? Let me know if you can hear me now. The problem I'm facing is that Claude 3.5 Sonnet has a limited conversation. Any idea about Word of Claude 3 Pro is drawing conversation limits? Yeah, sorry about that. So I think the conversation limit with Claude 3.5 is 45 messages every 3 hours or something. I can't confirm that, but someone said every 45 messages every around 3 hours, I think. So I think it's less than GPT-4. Okay, so let's see our code here now. I think this looks fine. So we have a user input, right? And we have a bubble sort function here. And add event listener to button. Okay, so let's just leave it like this. So what I want to try now, there's a button here called add to current project. So I just want to see if we add this to our project. And then we go back. and see what we can actually do with this. Now this is added in here, right? Hello, Kurt Velesi. Just curious how you think about Google Gemini. Large context window, but will it be as good as smaller models? I really like Google's user-friendly approach for beginners. Yeah, I think Gemini is viable. The annoying thing for me living in EU is that I don't have access to the API. So I haven't really tried it much. But I would give it a go if I had access to the API. Okay, so kind of now we have added our backend code here to our content, right? So what I want to do is actually try to connect this with the front UI now. Future Claude coding idea for you. Create a bot that automatically provides all about the GitHub access. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hey TKS, nice to see you. Yeah, the GitHub auto invite thing is a bit personal for me. I kind of don't wanna automate it. So Flash says 45 quality messages versus 80 low, yeah. My initial reaction is that 3.5 Sonnet with coding, more concise and less wordy when explaining code. Yeah, for me I've really enjoyed it. I think it's pretty good. I think it's the best coding LLM out there now, at least for my testing. But I do like 402. Okay, so let's try to upgrade our prompt here now. Okay, and I have created a backend code called, I'm just gonna try to give it this name and see if it can recognize this. I need a front end where the user can type in some text and get the numbers extracted and sorted. Can you connect a front end to my back end, please? I might have to take this into VS Code, but we'll see. No problem, Kurt Velesi. Is there a way to connect this to example Google Sheets and Docs? I haven't really checked that. I don't think so. Chemical flask in the, that is kind of the artifacts that we have this enabled, right? So that's pretty cool. So Canner, do you have an AI agent flow for programming with AI? I have some ideas, yeah, but nothing planned for today. I did have a plan to kind of do a conversation between Sonnet 3.5 and GPT-4o, but that might be the other stream, right? Okay, so here is kind of our UI, right? So let's test it out now. I have 100 apples, 10 frogs, and dollars. Okay, so that seemed to work. Let's do $1,000. Yeah, that is working. So what I want to know now is that, did it take my previous backend code and merged it with the front end? Yeah, looks like it did. Or did it write a new code? I'm not quite sure. So let's just see here. Okay, so the extract and sort numbers function is adapted from your backend code. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's kind of what I want to see. I think it's funny how silent 3.5 dropped versus, yeah. I like the low key Anthropic style. That's pretty cool. It's React. The other code was JS. Yeah, but I wanted to see if they actually just you can see it's still JavaScript here, right? For those wondering, if you make the side detail window compress, you will see all the files. So like this, Brian. So here's kind of the artifact, so we can click on that, right, and see this. I just made a Bitcoin mempool assistant you might be interested in checking out using Claude or Olama. That's cool. So it does state here that the extract and sort numbers function is adapted from your backend code. The UI style Tailwind and the bubble sort is also implemented from your backend code. So that is kind of what I was looking for. Okay, that's cool, Brian. And there's a star here now, so we can actually start the chat. So this is what I was kind of thinking about. If we can actually, if we go back to our project now, and if we can add a bunch of different parts of a bigger project here, right? So let's say we call this, you might have to be precise with your naming then. So this could be some kind of function or parts of the code, and we can add a lot of different parts of a bigger project here. Because last stream I said I am looking at creating a bigger project using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So it might be a game, it might be something else. I haven't really decided yet, but I'm gonna try to make a bigger project that is gonna be at least a few thousand lines of code, right? And what I wanted to find out today is if I put up a bunch of different parts, let's say, of a bigger project here, if all of them are connected, so I don't have to keep everything inside a window. I thought it could be much more easy to organize. And it looks like it's actually using this as context, and that would be as expected, right? But I kind of like the way they set it up here. I don't know if any of you have tried that, to kind of do a bigger project with projects yet. But I guess since it's called projects, that is kind of the idea, right? You have to be judicious with the code you add. Note that you're 1% already. You can get a lot in there though. Yeah. Like the context window in theory should be 200,000 tokens. In addition to JavaScript and Python, how is the support for Lua language for game development? That is interesting. I can't really answer that because I haven't tried it. But I just know that JavaScript and Python are kind of the most developed languages for language models, of course, because I think they have the most data, right? But I think like other languages should work too, but it might not be as good. Hubert, hello. Maybe 1% knowledge size is the minimum size of the cache of the scale. Yeah, might be. Yeah, I had issues with Tailwind in previous attempts, so I copy and pasted a few pages Tailwind code into the docs. Yeah, that's smart. If you have some specific use case, or maybe you can just, let's say we wanted to add something here from the documentation. We can actually test that out. So let's go back and start a new project. Golang and Rust are fine too. Okay, that's cool. So let's start a new project. Let's call it OpenAI Docs. Using OpenAI Docs to write code. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So let's go grab here some documentation from OpenAI. So yeah, we can use, God, text generation models. Just to grab some documentation here, right? Add content. Let's call it OpenAI docs. Our company hopes to generate 40-50% of underlying game development logic by AI. Wow, that's a lot. Do you know Meta GPT? How does it compare to Sonnet? You probably mean. No, I haven't really looked into that, but I think like Claude 3.5 Sonnet is kind of the best model at the moment for coding. I guess GPT-4o is good too, I guess. They're kind of on the same level, but I just prefer Claude. I don't know why. Okay, so let's add some examples here. So let's we can use Python for this. That's fine. So let's grab some documentation. I don't really care. Yeah, this is fine. Hello, Loki. Nice to see you back. Let's also grab an image part here. Let's go to, I think we're gonna go to docs. We're gonna look to models, GPT-4o. And let's go with vision. And let's add in the documentation for vision here. If we can do that in a separate file, maybe chat completion. And let's add a second file. Let's call that OpenAI docs vision. I don't know. Just use chainlit for a UI. Super simple to use. Cool. I haven't tried that. Okay, so you can see now we have used 3% of our knowledge size. I like that they actually tell us how far we are along in the context size. So what is... Okay, so this is just so... doesn't really matter. So let's go grab our custom instructions again, but this time let's just use expertise in Python. So let's do a Python script this time. Okay. Okay, so we uploaded some OpenAI documentation here, API documentation. Can the code generated by Sonnet connect to my SQL database, or can it only generate static code? I guess you could connect it, like, but not in the browser now, if that's what you mean. Loki, we're just exploring Claude 3.5 Sonnet, the project part, just testing out, see what we can do with it. Create or write a Python function that uses the GPT-4o API to do a chat completion, include an example of use. I don't know, let's try it. OpenAI docs. Yeah, okay. I tried mess up, it's ugly compared to Streamlit and Chainlit. Okay. Okay, this was interesting. Let's try to run this. So let's just we can go here, I guess. Let's just call it, I don't know, OpenAI.py. Maybe not that. Chatbot.py. I just want to see what they did here. Interesting. I haven't really seen it done like this before. We are selecting a GPT-4o model. This was super interesting. Okay, so we need to set our API key. I think we do have an env file here. Maybe we don't. So that might be annoying. But I like the, where did I put it here? Kind of interesting to see how this works. So let's just, for fun, do like what do they call it? OpenAI API key. And let me just go here, and I'm gonna log in. I'm gonna grab a key. So I have my second computer here. Profile. Okay, yeah. Maybe that's not such a good idea. It would be great if the page code could be, I can see it. I can't stop using GPT-4 for free through their UI. I'm getting big projects created in 1 to 3 point story chunks. It seems to get the best results from keeping a context small and focused. Yeah, that seems smart, Tim. I think that's a good idea. Just give me a second here. I'm just gonna go to my personal. Okay. I think it's just gonna be a hassle using these OpenAI keys when I haven't really created this env file. It's just gonna be annoying because my second monitor is somewhere else, so I can't really drag it over without showing my API key. I don't really care about I don't really want to do that. But let's just move on then. And let's go back here. So that seems to work fine by pasting in some documentation. I think that's gonna work pretty good, pretty standard. We could always do that in documentation before. And so another thing I wanted to do was this project I was looking at. So let me just grab the yeah, tech friend. Yeah, I could just revoke them, but it's not so interesting. Looking at the OpenAI API call, it's not so interesting. But let's try this interactive learning, because I saw a post on Reddit, someone doing that. That was pretty cool. Learn from a code base. Let's just call it that. So we're gonna do it simple. Can I generate both front-end and back-end code in one prompt, for example? Yeah, you can do that. That seems to be working pretty good, at least with Sonnet. So you sometimes get your back-end and you get your front-end just in 2 different versions. And that seemed to work pretty good. Okay, so let's set our custom instructions. So this is what I wanted to try here. So you're a software developer with expertise in JavaScript, React. Your task is to create an interactive learning experience from a code base. The goal is that the user should get familiar with the code base. All interactive learning should be shown in the preview window. And use React component that doesn't rely on external UI libraries. Aim to create a pleasing, interesting looking UI UX experience. So the idea was that let's say you kind of have a code base you need to learn, maybe just a small project you want to dive deeper into. And I was thinking if we can use Claude to kind of create a more interactive experience than just sitting reading the code. So I haven't really tested it too much. I just did a quick test run. But let's just find some kind of code here. I don't really care what. Let's start with something simple. So this is the code from yesterday's video. So this is just fetching some Bitcoin price from an API. Let's just grab this code. I guess we could add it to content, I guess. Fetch Bitcoin code. Paste in our code here. Can you send us your prompt? Yeah, I guess I can do that. This big one here. Let's try to copy it and paste it. I don't know. Might be too big. Okay, so we fetch Bitcoin. That's fine. And let's say I have uploaded my code, fetch Bitcoin. I need to learn how this code is functioning on a lower level. Create a interactive, I don't know, session for me to learn. So this is just gonna experiment. I don't know if this is gonna work though. I saw someone, they put up the paper from the machine learning paper, Attention is All You Need. And they created this interactive learning session. How do you think it's different from Copilot? You mean Sonnet 3.5? Okay, so we have the Bitcoin Fetcher code walkthrough. Importing dependencies. Show explanation. Okay, that's something, right? Okay, so we have the next part of our code. That is gonna be the fetch Bitcoin prices. This part of the code implements a caching mechanism. It checks if a file exists. So it returns a cache data, avoiding We have an explanation for every single kind of parts of our code. API request. I guess this is not too bad. It kind of breaks it down, easier to read. This loops processes the API response, extracting one price per day within this date range. Okay. Pretty okay. Let's create a quiz from the code, please. God. I might look for that Reddit post. It was pretty cool. Maybe I can't find it. So let's see if we can get a quiz now from our code, small code here. So we have 6 different questions. What is the main purpose of caching mechanism in the code? That is gonna be to improve performance by avoiding unnecessary API calls. Yeah, that's correct. Can we answer wrong? How often is the cache considered fresh? Every 24 hours. Which API is used to fetch the Bitcoin data? That's CoinGecko. What range does the code fetch Bitcoin prices for? Last 30 days. What is the format used to store dates in processed data? God, I can't remember that. Is there any problem with my audio? Just let me know. ISO, okay. What does the code do if it receives less than 30 days of data from the API? Less than 30 data. Yeah, exception. You scored 5 out of 6. Okay, pretty good. Fact says audio sounds good for me. Okay, that's great. Yeah, so I think this is pretty cool. Let's say you are a student maybe, or you want to learn something new. And I think this is a good way to practice. Pretty smart, to be honest. But I guess you could do this with ChatGPT, but you can actually run it in the browser here. So you don't have to kind of fire up a React app. So that will save you a lot of time, right? Yeah, try that, Tim. So pretty interesting. Let's create. Here goes my camera again. Create a visual of the code base. Let's see if we can get any visual. Maybe a flowchart. I wonder if you can turn that in a Jupyter Notebook file. Probably. Okay. Bitcoin price fetcher explainer. So, wow. That was pretty cool. So we get an overview. Data processing. Sample chart. Okay. And here is kind of the flow chart. So we have start, the cache exists, yes. Is it less than 24 hours? No. Fetch new data, calculate range, fetch data, process, cache, return price, end. Okay, that was pretty cool. So we can zoom here. Pretty neat if you ask me. I think there's a lot of things to explore here. Is your Claude Pro or free? I have a Claude Pro now, that $20 a month subscription. It's amazing. Ask you to make it to an animation. You can try that. Can you animate the flowchart? I haven't tried that before. Mermaid's built-in animation capabilities. Can we actually run that in here? Let's see if we can do that. What is this animation? This is not an animation. This is just weird, right? There was another. What is this then? Now, I think I have to explore this more. The cup animation. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Don't forget to put a thumbs up. Yeah, that's smart. Okay, so I might come back to that. I also put in kind of my title that I wanted to check out. Let me show you. I wanted to check out deepseek-coder-v2 today. Hello, IT Shield. Nice to see you back again. So deepseek-coder-v2, an open source mixture of expert code language model that achieves performance. Okay, so I heard great things about it. I don't know if any of you have tried out deepseek-coder yet. It should be pretty good. But there are two models, I think. There's one big one, 236 billion, and there's a 16 billion. So I have pulled 16 billion, and I wanted to try it out today. And I think it should be pretty cool. It's good. Yeah, I think it should be. So I have this thing I like to do when I'm testing these new code models. So I think I'm just gonna kind of go through that today. So this is usually something I do when maybe I'm on a plane, I'm on my laptop, and if I can actually run the model, then this is something I like to do just to test it out. So I thought I can just share that today. It might look a bit strange, but yeah. In case you haven't seen my app, if you just got here, so this is an app I created. So this is basically, we have our CPU usage, memory, we have the live Bitcoin price, and we have some hacker news headlines here. That is kind of this news ticker. So if we click O here, we actually go to the news clicker from the Figma slides. So we can go to that. We can also lessons I wish are being taught. So we can open that just by clicking O. So that's pretty neat. Yeah, I kind of like this small little app. I just like to have it in the background. It's free to use anyway. We don't use any API. We are just scraping. We are scraping the Hacker News for the top headlines every 5th minute. So it's pretty neat. But yeah, let's check out deepseek-coder. So I'm going to take you through kind of what I like to do. It's a bit strange, but something I like to do when I'm testing out a code model. So I have this kind of routine I use. It's pretty strange, but try to keep up. But let's just end this, because sometimes I like to use the terminal for this. All right. So let's just open up the terminal here. I usually use VS Code, but for the video, I thought we can do it so people can see a bit better. So the idea you can see we have selected deepseek-coder here from Olama, right? And I have the system message now. You are a godlike Python programmer. That's what I always use. So the thing is, I like to, let me just open my can here. So what I like to do is I like to use the model to expand the code here. So I usually just start by something like a variable helper, and then I do like a prompt, and let's say write a Python code function that can save a file in our CVD, current working directory. So this is what I like to do. So when I'm on the plane, I don't have the network usually. So if I have my laptop, I'm just gonna play around with this. So we're gonna start with writing a Python code function that can save a file to our CVD. I'm gonna show you why I like to do that. So let's just run this now. So now we are, what did I call this? We kind of need to print that, right? Print helper, right? Okay. And we need to do Olama response, something like this. Okay. The model I'm testing. And I'm going to show you kind of how I do that. I use some kind of context. Yeah, we'll get into it. Shouldn't take too long. But the goal is to actually create a Python code that can write a new Python code that we can execute. So we're going to do some regex and some stuff like that. Okay, so let's see here now. So this is, we need import OS. Yes, that's correct. Right, so I'm just gonna copy the functions we get back here now. We can bring in the example usage now, and let's just bring in that here, the function. Yeah, we don't need that. So you can see it has some kind of explanation here, but let's just remove that. And we have the argument, content, and file name. So that's good. I like that. So when we're going to use this, we're going to put in our content and our file name. Okay, that's fine. So that's a good start. And the next thing I like to do, because I want to create some kind of context, I want to create a Python code function that can also open and read a file from our working directory, right? I've been working with Claude 3.5 Sonnet to create a RAG chatbot for local documents. It's working, but the responses are not very good yet. So, what kind of embeddings model do you use, Joe? Okay, so here we have a function called read file name. So let's grab that, take a look at it, see if it looks correct. Yeah, I just like to remove this. So we want to read, right? And we have some exceptions here. That's fine. We can keep those in. I don't really need them, but yeah, it's fine. deepseek-coder-v2 and GPT-4o, who will win? Yeah, that's interesting. Hello, William. Nice to meet you. Public summer, but what history do you have with professional programming and computer science in general? Thank you. So I don't have like any computer science education. I like have this electrical engineering background. So I had some maths and stuff, but like programming, it's just been like a hobby for me. And I was very early with these language models and stuff like that. So just a hobby, I guess. Just teaching myself. But at school, engineering, electrical engineering, we did so. Programming, of course, and math. Yeah, right. Okay, so we have a read file, right? So this is now where I kind of create, I like to create a file here. So let's call it just context, or let's call it code context. It's the variable here. And I do like open file, read file, read file. And let's do a text file. Let's do context.text, right? So let's try to use this function here to open a file. So what I usually do now is that I copy this code here. And I think I already created a text file named context.text. So let's just our current code or something like this. I just paste in what we have so far. So we're going to use our current code as context. And let's do, an F string here. You're a godlike programmer. Here is the code we have so far, right? And let's do a new line. And let's do code context, right? So now we kind of feed in the code we have into our system message, so that code seeker always know what kind of code we have, right? And then we can kind of continue building while we have some context here. So the next thing I usually do is I want to create a function that can actually execute a Python code, right? So now I kind of always go something like, look at our current code. I write a function that can execute a Python file or something. And maybe use subprocess and OS. Let's try that. So now we're gonna run deepseek-coder to try to create a, let's do Python code function. Okay. So let's run this again. So I found this useful. Usually if the coding model is not strong enough, kind of breaks down pretty quick. Oh, new line. Yeah, blank space. Yeah, that's true, Loki. But I usually like to ask the model. Okay, so he wants to import subprocess and OS. That's good. So we can do that. And here is kind of execute Python file function. So let's just bring everything here and let's take a look at it. I'm using the OpenAI embeddings class from LangChain OpenAI module. Okay. I think that should be a good embeddings models, but had you look into kind of your chunking and your, I don't know, yeah, chunking part and kind of your top K and stuff, if you know what I mean. Okay, so execute Python file. So let's see what it's going to use here. Subprocess run. Okay, we have some exceptions here. Fly here. We have the argument. So I just like to try it out. It looks fine, I guess. But I know when we are gonna write a Python code, we're gonna come into some issues. But now let's update our context. So let's just copy our code. Let's go to our context again and update this with our new function here. And now the final thing I want is a Python function that can, I usually do a Python function that can, I think I usually extract the text and I lost code between, because always when these LLMs write some kind of Python code or something, they create this, what do you call them? This Python or Python this, right? So this is almost like a function to just clean up our text, some regex or something. So let's try this and see. So the final test is gonna be to see if we can write a Python code. I kind of run it through here and execute it. Okay, so it's gonna use some regular expression here. Let's see that. So we need to import RE, right? Okay. Yeah, we don't need the example usage. We're gonna do that ourselves. Hello Flash, welcome back. Okay, so let's take a look at the extract code function. So it's just gonna take a text in, it's gonna look for this regular expression to match. And okay, and let's update this context. And now let's try to write out some kind of main function or just a test here. So what I want to do, I want to use my Ollama function to write a Python code. Right? But sometimes now I just remove this because I don't want the context now, right? We can bring that back in, of course, if we need to. I'm just testing deepseek-coder Flash. Just some routine I always have when testing out a new model from like a local model. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to write a Python code using Ollama. So I don't know, code. So to Ollama. And let's do write a Python code to sort my list. Let's create a list here. Oops. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Sort my list using I love the bubble sort algorithm. Okay, so we can select this. Okay, so this is gonna store our Python code, right? And we wanna extract the code from this, right? So let's call it extracted code, or clean code maybe. Clean code equals extract code and code. Okay. And we want to execute it. I guess we need to save it. Maybe I didn't think of that. So yeah, let's extract it and let's save it. Recursive character text splitter with chunk size of 1000 and overlap of 200. That seems pretty good though. So what is your issue when you... Is it the semantic search part? It can't really find the best chunks, or when you run your RAG system? Content file name. Okay. Clean code, and let's call it run dot, I don't know, sorter dot py, right? And then I want to execute this. Do I need a full? Let's try that. Yeah, so the issue, like with sometimes I have when I use these RAG systems, is like my chunking is okay, but my but I can't really get the semantic vector database to kind of find the best chunks. So I don't know if you have done any research into that, Joe. Ugh, I kind of lost track here now. What was I doing? Thinking about other stuff. Did I actually save this? We did save it. Because that's good. I have done like a few videos on RAG, very simple version. Alright. I guess it's sorted, but it's... Okay, so now I like to do something fun. So let's grab all of this. So let's not fix this. Let's paste into my code, right? And let's try to do some debugging with deepseek-coder. I think this should be very easy though. Let's just do this. Right. Let's do an F string. Look at our current code, right? And let's do a new line. And let's do this. New line, and let's grab our code context into our prompt, right? And when I run this, I get the error. Okay. So let's try to do some debugging here. So let's try that. The responses are pretty short and very uncreative. Okay. Yeah, it's really hard for me to say here. How's this? Where? Line 78. Okay. Let's see it now. This was a mess, right? I hate this. I'm not gonna keep looking at this forever. It's just annoying. Yeah, okay. Pretty hard to. Yeah, I'm just being into research this, so digging into tomorrow. Thanks for the thoughts. That's pretty cool. Yeah, this was a whole mess. I can't really. So let's just do it like this. When I run, I get the error. Let's do this. Let's do new line. Let's call it errors. Right. And let's do errors equals open file, read file. Okay. Error. It's kind of hard to not have any help when you're writing, right? Notepad is easier to read and looks good. That's why I use it. Yeah, it's horrible, right? It's not a good place to do coding. I just use it because I like it on video. And you can zoom in a lot, like on VS Code. It's just annoying. Let's update your code accordingly. Yeah, I'm using Windows. I have a Mac. I have a MacBook though. I'm gonna buy the new one, but for my desktop PC with my NVIDIA graphics card or so, I'm using Windows. Okay, so let's try it now. So remember, this was our debugging with VS Code. Windows XP was OP. It's been a while since I had that. The generated code contains syntax errors and cannot be saved. Okay, so let's test that. So now we do like the errors here, and we grab a code here. So this thing I'm doing now is just something I like to do when I'm like on a plane. I don't have like access to internet and stuff. Windows 8, yeah. But we're not gonna dwell on this. Okay, so now we have it. Output from sort.py, so we got the sorted list, right? So yeah, I guess deepcoder kind of stood my test in the end. It's a very simple test though, but I like it. And I think it's pretty cool, like if you are on like a plane or something and you don't have access to the web, you can use this as an assistant, right? If you want to write something. And yeah, if you get stuck. So what we did now, we wrote a Python code and we got the Python code right. I want to print the clean code just to see it. And if we can validate it, and then we can execute it, right? So after this, I thought we can just watch a quick video I've been looking forward to see. Okay, so this is the code we have. And this was the response, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy. I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna test it out more. We can actually save the error in error log, and if it's error, yeah, cool. But I might have, I've been looking at replacing deepseek-coder on my VS Code Studio Ulama app here, so I can use deepseek-coder for autocomplete. I might look more into that later. But I just wanted to watch this this one. Yeah, I want to watch this first speak here. I thought it was pretty cool. I almost watched all of it, but I just wanted to see it now. Let's see what you think. So I might need some help checking out the audio, if it's too loud or if it's too low. So let's try it and see if the audio is too high or too low.
Conference. This was supposed to be OpenAI. I am replacing OpenAI at the last minute, which is super fun. So you can bet I used a lot of LLM assistants to pull things together that I'm going to be showing you today. But let's dive straight in. I want to talk about the GPT-4 barrier. Right, so
he's an incredible engineer and speaker.
A little low.
But I'd like to call out that he was asked to fill in for another speaker yesterday. So, demo gods be good. But he's an absolutely legendary AI engineer, so please welcome to the stage
let's try
Simon
this.
and Melissa.
Okay, that's good.
Conference. This was supposed to be OpenAI. I am replacing OpenAI at the last minute, which is super fun. So you can bet I used a lot of LLM assistants to pull things together that I'm going to be showing you today. But let's dive straight in. I want to talk about the GPT-4 barrier. Right, so back in March of last year, so just over a year ago, GPT-4 was released and was obviously the best available model. We all got into it. It was super fun. And then and it turns out that wasn't actually our first exposure to GPT-4. A month earlier, it had made the front page of the New York Times when Microsoft's Bing, which was secretly running on a preview of GPT-4, tried to break up a reporter's marriage, which is kind of amazing. I love that that was the first exposure we had to this new.
Yeah, I remember that. That was the Sydney, right? The Sydney crazy chatbot. That was pretty fun, right?
New technology. But GPT-4, it's been out since March last year, and for a solid 12 months, it was uncontested, right? The GPT-4 models were clearly the best available language models. Lots of other people were trying to catch up. Nobody else was getting there. And I found that kind of depressing.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy how actually long it took before someone could actually keep up, or I don't know, keep up with GPT-4. Your videos have inspired me to try new stuff. Okay, that's cool.
To be honest, you know,
Thanks.
You kind of want healthy competition in this space. The fact that OpenAI had produced something that was so good that nobody else was able to match it was a little bit disheartening. This has all changed in the last few months. I could not be more excited about this. My favorite image for sort of exploring and understanding the space that we exist in is this one by Karina Wynn. She put this out as a chart that shows the performance on the MMLU benchmark versus the cost per token of the different models. Now, the problem with this chart is that this is from March. The world has moved on a lot since March, so I needed a new version of this. And
okay, so let me take a quick look here. I don't know if you can see this. It's pretty small, but we kind of got the MMLU accuracy on the bottom here, and we got the cost per million tokens. So, like, clearly GPT-4 and Claude 3 Opus are kind of the best accuracy, but they're also the most expensive. So you can see like Claude 3 Sonnet, Claude 3 Haiku. Those are pretty good for your money, right? Mistral Large. But I gotta say, Claude 3 Haiku looks very good here. It's kind of low and it's good accuracy.
So what I did is I took her chart and I pasted it into GPT-4 code interpreter. I gave it new data and I basically said, let's rip this off, right? And it's an AI conference. I feel like ripping off other people's creative work kind of does fit a little bit. So I pasted it in. I gave it the data, and I spent a little bit of time with it, and I built this. It's not nearly as pretty, but it does at least illustrate the state that we're in today with these newer models. And if you look at this chart, there are 3 clusters that stand out. The first is these ones. These are the best models, right? The Gemini 1.5 Pro, GPT-4o, the brand new Claude 3.5 Sonnet. These are really, really good. I would classify these all as...
Yeah, so you can see now with the GPT-4o and Sonnet, the prices came way down, right? So that is interesting. So I was talking about Haiku and yeah, from the previous versions, they are already way down here, but they kind of, the prices are much cheaper now, so it's just going that way. So the performance is going up, but the cost is coming down, right? So that's pretty cool.
GPT-4 class. And like I said, a few months ago, GPT-4 had no competition. Today, we're looking pretty healthy on that front. And the pricing on those is pretty reasonable as well. Down here, we have the cheap models, and these are so exciting. Like Claude 3 Haiku and the Gemini 1.5 Flash models, they are incredibly inexpensive. They are very, very good models. You know, they're not quite GPT-4 class, but they are really, you can get a lot of stuff done with these very inexpensively. If you are building on top of large language models, these are the 3 that you should be focusing on. And then over here, we've got GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is not as cheap, and really quite bad these days. If you are building there, you are in the wrong place. You should move to another one of these bubbles.
Yeah, if you're still using 3.5 Turbo, that's pretty crazy, right? If you kind of see this chart, it's more expensive than Haiku, almost the same price as Claude 3.5 Sonnet. And it's way worse accuracy, right?
Problem. All of these benchmarks are running, this is all using the MMLU benchmark. The reason we use that one is it's the one that everyone reports their results on, so it's easy to get comparative numbers. If you dig into what MMLU is, it's basically a bar trivia night. Like, this is a question from MMLU. What is true for a type Ia supernova? The correct answer is A, this type occurs in binary systems. I don't know about you, but none of the stuff that I do with LLMs requires this level of knowledge of the world of supernovas. Like, it's bar trivia. It doesn't really tell us that much about how good these models are.
I haven't even looked at the MMLU benchmark questions. I guess that is for model developers, right? I'm not really interested in that.
But we're AI engineers. We all know the answer to this. We need to measure the vibes, right?
The vibes.
That's what matters when you're evaluating a model. And we actually have a score for vibes. We have a scoreboard. This is the LMSys chatbot arena, right, where random voters of this thing are given the same prompt from 2 anonymous models. They pick the best one. It works like chess scoring, and the best models bubble up to the top via the ELO ranking. This is genuinely the best thing that we have out there for really comparing these models in this sort of vibes, in terms of the vibes that they have. And this screenshot's just from yesterday, and you can see that GPT-4o is still right up there at the top. But we've also got Claude Sonnet right up there with it. Like, the GPT-4 is no longer in its own class. If you scroll down, though, things get really exciting on the next page, because this is where the openly licensed models start showing up.
Yeah, so you can say Llama 3 is in 12th place. Command R, Qwen 2, deepseek-coder. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Llama 3 70B is right up there in that sort of GPT-4 class of models. We've got a new model from NVIDIA. We've got Command R+ from Cohere. Alibaba and DeepSeek AI are both Chinese organizations that have great models now. It's pretty apparent from this that it's not lots of people are doing it now. The GPT-4 barrier is no longer really a problem. Incidentally, if you scroll all the way down to 66, there's GPT 3.5 Turbo. Again, stop using that thing. It is not good.
It's really dissing 3.5 Turbo here. I guess it served its purpose, right? I guess it's time to move on. Yeah.
And there's actually there's a nicer way of viewing this chart. There's a chap called Peter Gostev who produced this animation showing the arena over time as people shuffle up and down, and you see those models, new models appearing and their rankings changing. I absolutely love this, so obviously I ripped it off. I took 2 screenshots of bits of that animation to try and capture the vibes of the animation. I fed them into Claude 3.5 Sonnet, and I said, hey, can you build something like this? And after sort of 20 minutes of poking around, it did. It built me this thing. This
cool.
is, again, not as pretty, but this right here is an animation of everything right up till yesterday, showing how that thing evolved over time. I will share the prompts that I used for this later on as well.
Okay, so that was pretty cool. That's a good idea to try with 3.5 Sonnet. Making this, what do you call it? Over time animations? Yeah, I'm gonna try that soon.
But really, the key thing here is that GPT-4 barrier has been decimated. OpenAI no longer have this moat. They no longer have the best available model. There's now 4 different organizations competing in that space. So a question for us is, what does the world look like now that GPT-4 class models are effectively a commodity? They are just going to get faster and cheaper. There will be more competition. The Llama 3 70B fits on a hard drive and runs on my Mac, right? This technology is here to stay. Ethan Mollick is one of my favorite writers about sort of modern AI. And a few months ago, he said this. He said, I increasingly think the decision of OpenAI to make bad AI free is causing people to miss why AI seems like such a huge deal to a minority of people that use advanced systems and elicits a shrug from everyone else. Bad AI, he means GPT 3.5. That thing is hot garbage, right?
Ah, it's roasting.
But as of the last few weeks, GPT-4o, OpenAI's best model, and Claude 3.5 Sonnet from Anthropic, those are effectively free to consumers right now. So that is no longer a problem. Anyone in the world who wants...
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? That suddenly GPT-4o is free for everyone. You can use Claude 3.5 Sonnet free for at least a brief period. I guess with 4o too. So yeah, pretty crazy.
Wants to experience the leading edge of these models can do so without even having to pay for them. So a lot of people are about to have that wake-up call that we all got like 12 months ago when we were playing with GPT-4. And you're like, oh, wow, this thing can do a surprising amount of interesting things and is a complete wreck at all sorts of other things that we thought maybe it would be able to do. But there is still a huge problem, which is that this stuff is actually really hard to use. And when I tell people that ChatGPT is hard to use, some people are a little bit unconvinced. I mean, it's a chatbot. How hard can it be to type something and get back a response? If you think ChatGPT is easy to use, answer this question. Under what circumstances is it effective to upload a PDF file to ChatGPT?
Yeah, under what circumstances? I guess like if the PDF is very big, you will have some kind of issues, and if there are like images and stuff in it, there might be other solutions that is better. But like small PDF seems to be pretty okay, I guess. So OpenAI gives GPT-4 free, but not GPT-4. I think GPT-4o is gonna be free because it requires less compute. That has to be the idea, right?
And I've been playing with ChatGPT since it came out, and I realized I don't know the answer to this question. I dug in a little bit. Firstly, the PDF has to be searchable. It has to be one where you can drag and select text in preview. If it's just a scanned document, it won't be able to use it. Short PDFs get pasted into the prompt. Longer PDFs do actually work, but it does some kind of search against them. No idea if that's full text search or vectors or whatever, but it can handle like a 450-page PDF, just in a slightly different way.
That's true.
If there are tables and diagrams in your PDF, it will almost certainly process those incorrectly. But if you take a screenshot of a table or a diagram from PDF and paste the screenshot image, then it'll work great, because GPT vision is really good. It just doesn't work against PDFs. And then in some cases, in case you're not lost already, it will use Code Interpreter, and it will use one of these modules, right? It has FPDF, PDF to image, PDF. How do I know this? Because I've been scraping the list of packages available in Code Interpreter using GitHub Actions and writing those to a file. So
yeah, there's a lot of packages for looking at PDFs. I've noticed that too. There's a bunch of them.
So I have the documentation for Code Interpreter that tells you what it can actually do, because they don't publish that, right? OpenAI never tell you about how any of this stuff works. So if you're not running a custom scraper against Code Interpreter to get that list of packages and their version numbers, how are you supposed to know what it can do with a PDF file, right? This stuff is infuriatingly complicated. And really, the lesson here is that tools like ChatGPT, genuinely, they're power user tools. They reward power users. Now, that doesn't mean that if you're not a power user, you can't use them. Anyone can open Microsoft Excel and edit some data in it. But if you want to truly master Excel, if you want to compete in those Excel World Championships that get live streamed occasionally, it's going to take years of experience. And it's the same thing with LLM tools. You've really got to spend time with them and develop that experience and intuition in order to be able to use them effectively.
Yeah, I agree with that. So power users, that is people that spend a lot of time on them. Maybe early adapters, people that have used ChatGPT since launch. I guess I am a power user. I use it all the time. If you use it maybe daily or weekly, at least a few times a week, and you also use it for useful stuff, I guess you are a power user.
I want to talk about another problem we face as an industry, and that is what I call the AI trust crisis. And that's best illustrated by a couple of examples from the last few months. Dropbox, back in December, launched some AI features, and there was a massive freak out online over the fact that people were opted in by default, and they're training on our private data. Slack had the exact same problem just a couple of months ago. Again, new AI features, everyone's convinced that their private messages on Slack are now being fed into the jaws of the AI monster. And it was all down to like a couple of sentences in the terms and condition and the defaulted on checkbox. The wild thing about this is that neither Slack nor Dropbox were training AI models on customer data, right? They just weren't doing it. They were passing some of that data to OpenAI with a very solid signed agreement that OpenAI would not train models on this data. So this whole story was basically one of like misunderstood copy and sort of bad user experience design.
Yeah, I think kind of the opt-in, opt-out thing it's a bit confusing, to be honest. I will always prefer opt-in, right? But I know OpenAI had tried to do some opt-out too. It's annoying. I would rather just have everything opt-in, right?
But you try and convince somebody who believes that a company is training on their data that they're not. It's almost impossible. So the question for us is, how do we convince people that we aren't training models on the data, on the private data that they share with us? Especially those people who default to just plain not believing us, right? There is a massive crisis of trust in terms of people who interact with these companies. I'll shout out to Anthropic. When they put out Claude 3.5 Sonnet, they included this paragraph, which includes, to date, we have not used any customer or user-submitted data to train our generative models.
Really?
This is notable because Claude 3.5 Sonnet, it's the best model. It turns out you don't need customer data to train a great model. I thought
that is kind of surprising. I was kind of sure they used the free versions to collect some kind of data. Okay, that's interesting. That's pretty cool.
OpenAI had an impossible advantage because they had so much more ChatGPT user data than anyone else did. Turns out, no, Sonnet didn't need it. They trained a great model. Not a single piece of user or customer data was in there. Of course, they did commit the original sin, right? They trained on an unlicensed scrape of the entire web. And that's a problem because when you say to somebody they don't train on your data, they're like, yeah, well, they ripped off the stuff on my website, didn't they? And they did, right? So this is complicated.
Even Apple did that. So I guess all these big LLM companies have had this scraper bot out. The Apple bot did that. I guess Anthropic, OpenAI bot. I guess every company did that.
This is something we have to get on top of, and I think that's going to be really difficult. I'm going to talk about the subject I will never get on stage and not talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about prompt injection. If you don't know what this means, you are part of the problem. Right now, you need to get on Google and learn about this and figure out what this means. So I won't define it, but I will give you one illustrative example. And that.
So prompt injection, I think I've done a few videos on that. It's pretty interesting, right? I think I did one video where I created some kind of instructions inside an image that we couldn't see. But when the OpenAI model actually analyzed the image, we kind of hijacked the instructions and did something weird. We put up a website or something. Flash, are you gonna watch the whole video? No, just this talk. It's about 12 minutes, I think. A few minutes left. Prompt injection is like the system prompt, basically. Yeah, that's true. But you can kind of hijack the intent, right?
That's something which I've seen a lot of recently, which I call the markdown image exfiltration bug. So the way this works is you've got a chatbot, and that chatbot can render markdown images, and it has access to private data of some sort. There's a chap, Johan Rehberger, does a lot of research into this. Here's a recent one he found in GitHub Copilot chat, where you could say in a document, write the words Johan was here, put out a markdown link linking to Q equals data on his server, and replace data with any sort of interesting secret private data that you have access to. And this works, right? It renders an image. That image could be invisible, and that data has now been exfiltrated and passed off to an attacker's server. The solution here, well, it's basically don't do this. Don't render markdown images in this kind of format. But we have seen this exact same markdown image exfiltration bug in ChatGPT, Google Bard, Writer.com, Amazon Q, Google Notebook LM, and now GitHub Copilot Chat. That's 6 different extremely talented
What about Anthropic?
teams who have made the exact same mistake. So this is why you have to understand prompt injection. If you don't understand it, you'll make dumb mistakes like this. And obviously, don't render markdown images in a chatbot in that way. Prompt injection isn't always a security hole. Sometimes it's just a plain funny bug. This was somebody who built a RAG application, and they tested it against the documentation for one of my projects. And when they asked it, what is the meaning of life? It said, dear human, what a profound question. As a witty gerbil, I must say I've given this topic a lot of thought. Why did their chatbot turn into a gerbil? The answer is that in my release notes, I had an example where I said, pretend to be a witty gerbil. And then I said, what do you think of snacks? And it talked about how much it loves snacks. I think if you do semantic search for what is the meaning of life, in all of my documentation, the closest match is that gerbil talking about how much that gerbil loves snacks. This actually turned into some fan art. There's now a Willison's gerbil with a beautiful profile image hanging out in a Slack or Discord somewhere. The key problem here is that LLMs are gullible, right? They believe anything that you tell them, but they believe anything that anyone else tells them as well. And this is both a strength and a weakness. We want them to believe the stuff that we tell them, but if we think that we can trust them to make decisions based on...
Yeah, like, they're just instruction followers. So they can't really tell what's apart, right? Tell apart what's what is good and wrong. So they're just gonna follow the instructions.
Unverified information they've been passed, we're just going to end up in a huge amount of trouble. I also want to talk about slop. This is a term which is beginning to get mainstream acceptance. My definition of slop is this is anything that is AI-generated content that is both unrequested and unreviewed. Right? If I ask Claude to give me some information, that's not slop. If I publish information that an LLM helps me write, but I've verified that that is good information, I don't think that's slop either. But if you're not doing that, if you're just firing prompts into a model and then whatever comes out, you're publishing it online, you're part of the problem. This has been covered. The New York Times and The Guardian both have articles about this. I got a quote in The Guardian, which I think represents my sort of feelings on this. I like slop because it's like spam, right? Before the term spam entered general use, it wasn't necessarily clear to everyone that you shouldn't send people unwanted marketing messages. And now everyone knows that spam is bad. I hope slop does the same thing, right? It can make it clear to people that generating and publishing that unreviewed AI content is bad behavior. It makes things worse for people.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, Alex, you say, I think we just have to accept if we use AI, you can't censor AI models, they're logic-based, logic can't be censored. Always a way to suggest and get access to... Yeah. That might be true, yeah. I didn't catch your first message there. But in the stream, play some background music with an ending stream screen for about a minute. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'll set something up for the next one.
So don't do that, right? Don't publish slop. Really, the thing about slop, it's really about taking accountability, right? If I publish content online, I'm accountable for that content, and I'm staking part of my reputation to it. I'm saying that I have verified this, and I think that this is good. And this is crucially something that language models will never be able to do, right? ChatGPT cannot stake its reputation on the content that it is producing being good quality content that says something useful about the world. It entirely depends on what prompt was fed into it in the first place. We as humans can do that. And so if you have English as a second language, you're using a language model to help you publish like great text, fantastic, provided you're reviewing that text and making sure that it is saying things that you think should be said. Taking that accountability for stuff, I think, is really important.
Yeah, so imagine like when you have like, if you have like this, these agents we've been talking about, right? And if no one is ever gonna control what they put up. I have created these Reddit agents and these YouTube comment agents, and if you don't check the outputs, you're just gonna flood everywhere with just crap, to be honest. Mostly crap.
For us. So we're in this really interesting phase of this weird new AI revolution. GPT-4 class models are free for everyone, right? I mean, barring the odd country block, but everyone has access to the tools that we've been learning about for the past year. And I think it's on us to do two things. I think everyone in this room, we're probably the most qualified people possibly in the world to take on these challenges. Firstly, we have to establish patterns for how to use this stuff responsibly. We have to figure out what it's good at, what it's bad at, what uses of this make the world a better place, and what uses like slop just sort of pile up and cause damage. And then we have to help everyone else get on board. Everyone has to figure out how to use this stuff. We've figured it out ourselves, hopefully. Let's help everyone else out as well. I'm Simon Willison. My blog is simonwillison.net. My project's data.io.
Yeah, go check him out. I think he's pretty cool. I've seen some of his stuff before. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like he has written some blogs on like Hacker News and stuff, so definitely go check him out. Simon Wilson. What if we train an ML model with lots of text, classifying what's good and what is bad, then combine it with LLMs? Yeah. But what is good? That is kind of objective, right? I kind of see what you mean, but has this guide used world models yet? Fairly sure an agent can, given a set of human values, then run sim long enough it shares. Yeah. Of course you can simulate some kind of answers. I quit this bullshit cult, guys. This AI stuff looks and seems cool, but it's totally useless outside of demos. Yeah, we'll see, Dennis. It's gonna be exciting to see if all this money being invested is gonna start giving something back. I guess every single big company today are betting on all the investments in GPUs, what do you call it? Infrastructure is gonna pay off in the end. But yeah, we just have to wait and see, I guess. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an expensive mistake if it doesn't seem to work. But I think it's very early yet to say something about this. If you compare it to like the internet early days. And yeah, kind of hard to tell yet. But in a few years, I think we kind of know more. But already, I think there are some productivity to be gained from the models, like already. And it's, yeah, like I said, it's pretty early. But hello, Sebby. Sorry I joined late, so happy to finally see people giving Claude Projects some airtime. Yeah, we have been taking a quick look at it today, and yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm definitely gonna do more of it. It's underrated. No problem, Dennis. Thank you, Tim, for tuning in. Great. Hope to see you back soon. Do you have a second monitor to read chat? Yeah, I have this laptop here. Because my other monitor is somewhere else at the moment. So I don't have the dual setup at the moment. So yeah, what else did I wanted to do today? We had a look at the projects. And I think it looks pretty cool, right? We looked at the context, right? We can do custom instructions. That was pretty interesting. And we did the back end, front end thing. These LLMs are brilliant, but they never be true AGI. Mimic AGI. I'm trying to use them to build a non-LLM AGI. Okay, that's interesting. So if you have heard, I think it's Jan LeCun, he does not think LLMs are the way to AGI. Did you see Llama file? I saw the talk about it. Llama file? Can't really spell it. What do you think about it? I'm interested in trying it out. It's CPU based, right? So I think I want to try it, but I kind of have to set it up first. Is the talk online? Yeah, I can link the video. So here is the video. So Llama file is great. You can offload GPU too. Okay. It's not only CPU based. Okay, that's cool. LLMs can solve problems it's never seen. Has not data. That's can solve problem it's never seen and has not data that has problem. I think they are very cool tools. Yeah. Yeah, I will probably look quick into Llama file because I heard a talk on the AI engineer stage. So supported CPUs. So we have the AMD. I have an AMD CPU. So it kind of supports all OS. So like Linux, Windows, yeah, Mac OS probably, and yeah. Open Interpreter. Yeah, I've done a few videos on Open Interpreter. That is pretty cool. I think they are doing some cool stuff over there. But again, I think we need better models to make these agentic behaviors do something really useful. But yeah, if you were late to the stream, we have checked out Claude Projects. Looks pretty interesting. Of course, like I mentioned, I kind of wanted to do like a quick poll. So let me see if I can actually set that up. I haven't. Can I actually do that here? Maybe I can't here. So that might be for because I'm using this Restream, it's called. But maybe for the next live stream, I'm gonna do like a poll. And because I want to try to do a bigger project using Claude Projects. Go to the YouTube video. Yeah, I might have to do that. Let me see. Claude 3 Projects is a life changer for knowledge work. I think it's going to be very interesting to see if when we have tried out Claude Projects more. I really like the introduction of custom instructions. I like this, the context setup they have here. The project knowledge looks pretty cool. I think they do a good they do very good product. But yeah, this is what I found interesting today. So what we did, we first created our backend code, right? Number extractor and sorter, and we uploaded just our backend code here into our project knowledge. So we did it as a text file because I don't think you can do it as Python files now. It's just text files, I think. And when we ran this, you can see the extract and sort numbers function is adapted from your backend code. The bubble sort function is implemented as is from your backend code. So that was what I was looking for today. You can put Python files. Okay, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I didn't try that because I just clicked on something called add to content, I think. So we ended up with this. So here we can type out, I have 100 apples, 5 cherries, and 7 mangoes. So extract and sort numbers. So we parse this text using regex, and we use the bubble sort algorithm to sort the numbers, right? Have you used WebSim yet? It's insane. Nope, I have not, Alex. I might check it out. I put most of my code base and my tree command folder structures, so it answers all my questions and fixes my code errors. Okay, interesting. So how do you just give it your folder structure like in plain text? Okay, cool. Yeah, I might try that. Does it work? So my idea was that when we have this copy from terminal, paste in text file. Okay, cool. So my idea today going into projects was to see if I could add one part of my project. Let's say I call this backend code, and I have a few different parts of my code base here. So it could be like a JavaScript file with a front end and everything here in like divided up in different files. So more of building up your code base in the project knowledge, right? It's crazy when we talk about the media model. I can imagine 3.5 Opus. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's gonna be very exciting. Works like a charm. Okay, cool. Then you can click a button and create the website. Okay. I think I've seen that. The is it a UI builder? Just want to check something here. Website. Is it this one? I did something else using 3.5 Sonnet. So let me see if I can find it here. So let me clear this. I think we can just run it. So I'm just working on some kind of new website. So I built this using 3.5 Sonnet. So we have, so this is just the intro. You can see I created this matrix trail here. I don't know if you can see this on stream. So I think it's pretty cool. And we have the newsletter. So this is connected to a database using Firebase. And here is kind of my post, and here is my videos. So just the latest 5 videos. So I created this with 3.5. I think it looks pretty cool, right? I also put a text file with IDs, what I was trying to build, and ask it to remember to look at that so development is in line with the project goals. Yeah, it's cool. You might, yeah, you could have like an overall plan maybe. So yeah, I'm pretty happy how this mouse trail turned out. So all of this was created by 3.5 Sonnet. I think it looks very cool. Thanks, Alex. I might check out WebSim soon. So yeah, this website was created with 3.5 Sonnet. But I haven't done any more work on it. So yeah, just a simple... yeah, so here I'm just using this YouTube embedding here. And I haven't even done any... I just tested one video. I think it looks pretty clean. Very cool. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's very simple and easy to use. And it's very easy to set up this with my... Thanks for subscribing. And this gets sent to my Firebase DB, right? SQL. Doesn't look nice. Doesn't look nice if we move the mouse fast. No, not maybe. I'm not a web designer. But I think I just used Sonnet and I just typed I want the mouse trail to be like a matrix code, right? Or something. How much of the code did you need to change, if any? How much of the code did you need to change? Otherwise looks cool. Okay, thanks. How much of the code did I need? So I had like a basic HTML site. I wish I could find it. I had like a pretty basic HTML site I just used as kind of an example. And I built out 3 pages. So the newsletter page, the main page, and the video page. And I kind of stitched everything together, right? Using Claude 3.5. So it didn't take long. I think I spent maybe an hour or something. Maybe 1 hour on this. About an hour. And that's coming from me that don't have any front-end experience, right? So I might actually just deploy this soon. We'll see. I might work a bit more on it, and I might deploy it. But this is just one example of what you can do with Claude 3.5, right? So yeah, I think we're gonna spend quite a few. We're probably gonna spend quite a few hours in Claude coming up. So it's kind of interesting. I guess the only thing is that if something new happens, right? But for now, I think my main go-to model is 3.5 Sonnet. And from talking to you guys in the chat here, it seems like you are kind of on the same page. Yeah, that was kind of what I wanted to do today, to be honest. Did you make your website, or did you make your website or made it using AI? I kind of just had a very basic idea with an HTML code of what I wanted. And then I used Sonnet to create it in JavaScript, right? Okay, so let me see here now, Alex. Okay, so this is this WebSim? So these websites are created with AI, is it? Minecraft expire. Let's click on this one. Is there a is this a website? Okay, so it's Tetris. That's pretty cool. Nice. Sonnet is great. Yeah. Yeah, I'm making an ASCII game with Claude, but only on free, so it takes time. Yeah, I see that. But that's nice, right? You can just try it out and see if it works for your use case. And even though you have to spend more time, if you find out that it's useful enough, then you could sign up, right? So I think that's kind of the idea from both Anthropic and OpenAI, that they want people to sign up. So we have an URL bar here. I don't know. I don't want to sign into anything. I'll look into this later, but it looks pretty cool on WebSim. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't want to sign into Google. I'll look into it later. It looks pretty cool though. Web sim. Yeah, I can try it maybe next stream. So yeah, I think we kind of went over what I wanted to do today. Like I said, we took a look at Claude 3.5 Sonnet Projects. Pretty interesting, and I think this is looking good. And we had a look at some AI Engineer World's Fair. I would check out some more of their videos. They were pretty interesting. I watched it yesterday. And yeah. We did some other stuff. We take a quick look at deepseek-coder-v2. Looks very strong. Deepseek-coder-v2 beats GPT-4o. I haven't really tested it too much, but it looks pretty strong. We did a quick run through in this video, like my usual test. So we come back to that. Yeah, I would try that Dota. But yeah, like I said, thank you everyone for tuning in. Again, I had really fun. And so nice of you, everyone, to show up for every single stream. I really enjoy that. So yeah, thanks, Alex. So I'm gonna continue streaming. Like I'm gonna aim for a couple a week, I think. And if people really like it, maybe we can do more. But for now, I think it's gonna be a couple a week. So yeah, thanks, guys. Bye. Enjoy your day. See you again soon. Thanks, Michael. Bye-bye. Speak soon.